discussing it. We'll play all of it, but I want to take a step back a little more globally and explain to you why it interests me. It interests me because as I look at the death of Charlie Kirk and how did he die? Who is responsible for it? Not necessarily when I say how did he die, I don't mean what's the mechanism, what's the caliber round, or was it something else? When I say how he died, I mean, what was the motivation for removing him? And one of the things I keep coming back to is their insistent denial that Charlie had any attraction to or any desire to be Catholic. Not that being Catholic would have been a huge problem for his salvation, whether he was Catholic or not. I think most of the people, particularly Rob McCoy, I've heard him talking about it. I mean, I think he looks at Catholics and says, yeah, they're saved. They believe in Jesus. They go to heaven. You know, we just do it differently. There are a lot of people that kind of believe that way. But from an investment into TPUSA, I think Charlie becoming Catholic would have devastated TPUSA as an organization because it had such a cultural identity with this Protestant brand of Christianity. I don't care which it was. Like, it doesn't bother me. I don't get all bent out of shape about that. I don't get all lathered up about those things when it comes to political organizations. You know, to me, it's, do they profess Jesus? Okay, good. I'm on their side. You know, let's from the sake of politics, let's just move on. We're on the same team. Let's go. But there are some people where it really bothers them. You know, they'll only support an organization led by a Catholic, or they'll only support an organization led by a Protestant, or only support led by a Jewish person or something like that. So that's why this conversation interests me so well, because I look at this and I say, could this have been a reason he was killed? I don't know the answer to that, but I do want to play a couple of these recordings. I'll pull them up kind of in succession. Let's start with what I think is the biggest one. This is Father Klein. This is the priest that we were discussing moments ago. Do you want to explain before I bring it on who Father Don Klein is?
Father Klein is a very, very good priest. Okay. And, you know, you asked me about that. He's going a lot right now. His father's on death's door right now. And Father Klein is well loved among the Scottsdale area. And, you know, he has done many things. I mean, you speak about architecture, for what it's worth. The parish that he oversees has some of the most beautiful architecture in the state of Arizona. And that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to raise your mind and soul to God. Father Klein's the kind of person that, 5 a.m., you go in the adoration chapel for Catholics, or you don't know that. It's like a room where the Eucharist, we believe it's the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Christ, is exposed. Father Klein will be on there on his knees at 5 a.m. He has done many good things for the parish, and I can go on and on. So I say that in reference, and I think that you know, it's always important. We can critique, point, everything like that, but we should have double the caution when criticizing a man to devote his life to God. Doesn't mean we don't point out faults or whatever like that, 100%. But I think we'd be very prudent with that on that. So this, and he's been a dear friend, right? So but let's. I
think it's less than a minute here, but I want to play just a small clip of this because the beginning of the video opens. I don't know who recorded this or if they had his permission to record it, but it's been out there and we played it.
No, they didn't, and I think that was unfortunate. I think that there were better ways to handle that. You know, it was recorded. I think that the gotcha thing wasn't the best way to do it. I think there could have been other ways to do that. But that being said, I'll comment on what was said. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a short clip of it here.
You know, Charlie Kirk getting murdered has been just so tragic. But I guess he was converting to Catholicism at the end. Is that right?
I don't know.
People have been talking about that. So anyway,
I don't know those people.
Okay.
Who's saying that?
Oh, well, there's a lot of people saying that he was converting to Catholicism, like at the end, and he attended like St. Bernadette, right?
Yeah, he would come here for Mass on occasion, but I don't know anything about any converting to Catholicism.
So let me pick up from there. I don't want to criticize a priest. I don't want to criticize a Baptist pastor. I don't want to criticize anybody, right? For the sake of their religion or anything like that. If they're going crazy, obviously I feel like it's within my bounds to say something. But what say you about that? Do you have a different opinion than Father Klein when it comes to whether or not Charlie was intending to or intended to convert to Catholicism?
one of the most precious things about Catholicism is it's a gift. Is the confidence that when a soul approaches, translates over into the Protestant ministers too, is that intimate personal connection where they're able to reveal stuff to a priest and have that sacred conscience space guarded, right? Obviously the sacrament, seal of confession is like the most sacred, right? So, but in a tangential way, when somebody like, for instance, Charlie would open up with Father Klein, it's a realm of priestly confidence, right? So I could see the father's making a prudential decision. Again, prudential means I could disagree with it. I'm going to tell you, I actually do disagree with it. That he's making it, you know what? That's between me and Charlie. Okay. That being said, you have some understanding why he might be doing that, right? Why do I disagree? Because in a certain sense, what are heroes, Baron? What are heroes for? Or, in Catholic Church, we have saints. Saints are people that have gone before us, okay, and have walked the walk, talked the talk. They, in the church, believe they're in heaven, and they're meant to be there to help us along our journey. So they belong to us in a certain way. Once someone lives a heroic lifestyle, like Charlie Kirk died in a heroic way, in a certain sense, they no longer belong just to their parish. They no longer belong just to their family. We, the American people, have a right to know what his faith life was, right? And also, we played the clip. This is Charlie's own wish. I want to be remembered for my faith. Well, what was your faith? Okay. So, agree to disagree. I mean, again, fathers, I can see where he's coming from. I disagree with him. It's okay to disagree, right? And
so why do you disagree with him? You say you disagree with him.
The facts are, the facts speak for themselves. I mean, again, he might know all this and be like, I'm just not going to go into that. Fine. Okay. Now, the other reasons why Erica, for instance, or Andrew Colvett or Tracy Martin, I don't think there's any reason for that. I think it's a travesty. I think it's a lie. And I think it needs to stop, because that's, if you can lie about somebody's faith and cover that up, what else are you capable of lying about?
But let me just back up and give a yes, no, if you can, or a yes, no with a qualifier if you need to. In your opinion, did he intend to become Catholic?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Well, let's look at the reasons. Let's recap. I mean, reason number one is he not only attended weekly mass, he attended daily mass. Okay. You are required, if you're a Catholic, to go to Sunday mass. Daily mass is an option. We have a man who not only went to weekly, but he chose to go the extra effort of daily mass. Why is that? Number two, the famous debate about the Catholic Rosary. Charlie, in his interview with Michael Knowles in February of 2025, has had three things which he said I didn't agree with the Catholic Church about: transubstantiation, the Holy Father, and Our Lady. By the time that he died, that third reason, the Blessed Mother Devotion to Our Lady, was gone. He was praying the Rosary. I have text messages where he said, I want Catholics praying the Rosary for the president. And I sent him pictures of Our Lady, and he said, this is amazing. And Candace revealed too that he was praying the Rosary. So third reason, he had a Catholic spiritual director. That's a fact. The priest was a spiritual director. Okay. Number four, he had a Catholic burial and funeral. That has been substantiated. I have seen pictures. I didn't take pictures, but it was revealed to me shortly before. Maybe it'll wind up on your show somehow, of the actual ceremony of Charlie having at a Catholic parish. Okay. That's not hearsay. That's legit. Okay. And yeah, according to Candace, and it's true, the people who went there signed NDAs. Why would you sign NDAs about a man's faith? That's insane, right? Number five, you had Bishop Brennan. Charlie, on September 5th, 4th, was in Orange County, intersects with a Catholic bishop, Bishop Brennan. They run into him, and he says, I am this close to becoming Catholic. Okay. And then seventh reason is he died with that Catholic medal on to St. Michael. Okay. That's huge. He had the medal on. And then last but not least, and I think this is that goes to the will. Okay. Where was his will? Where did he want to go? And I know disagreement. Tracy says otherwise about the OCIA classes. What's an OCIA class for people who don't know this? It's the Order of Initiation for Christian Adults. So if you're outside the Catholic Church, you want to become Catholic, what do? You sign up for OCIA classes. You go through a series of 5 months of them, and then on Easter Vigil, you're fully become full member of the Catholic Church, right? Parish staff, who I trust, I have to say this because I've debated whether to go into this for a long time, because obviously I know people that I love disagree or saying different things, but within me, it's like if I'm quiet about this very important fact, these very stones will cry out, referencing the gospel. This staff member told us early on that Charlie had committed to the OCIA classes, and it was only a question of when to fit it into his schedule. That, Baron, is an act of the will. That's fundamental. It's baptism by desire, if you will. He already was baptized, but in a similar way, you know? This guy was committed to becoming Catholic. He's Catholic. He died a Catholic. That's in that way, I would say.
So, and again, this is the last point you made is kind of the one that's been probably debated the most. It's did he intend to attend the OCIA or RCIA or whatever it's called these days? I think it's OCIA now. It was RCIA. Did he intend to attend the classes, sign up for the classes to become a Catholic, to do the Catholic conversion? And your the staff member at St. Bernadette that you talked to said yes. Yes,
that's correct. And that source is someone I trust more than Tracy, for instance, who said something to the contrary. You know, don't get lost in the wordplay about, well, he wasn't in OCI classes yet. I think that was their exact wording. I would be more specific and precise too, you know, and I trust, honestly, the staff member said it was just a question of time before or for him to work out a schedule. That's big. He had committed though. So if we're wrong about this, then, you know, I think they need to be very strong against it, saying it's false.
Oh, I'm always open to correction. Like I give my opinion. I put out what I perceive as facts. If somebody has other facts, I will make a correction in a heartbeat. If somebody
remember this too, man. It's like the person saying that, Tracy or whoever, that he wasn't in an OCIA classes is the same group of people that are saying architecture was his only motivation to sit inside that church a few times a week.
Right.
So,
let me play the clip of you've referenced the clip of Tracy Martin. Let me play this. Tracy Martin, for those that don't know, is the allegedly Erica Kirk's best friend. It's a little weird to me because, as you'll see, despite her attempts to not look much older than Erica Kirk, I believe she is. I mean, she strikes me as 20 plus years older than Erica, but apparently they're best friends. Here is her take on the situation.
Was Charlie Catholic? Was Charlie enrolled in OCIA courses and things like that? Like
no, and it's funny because on the conversation with Candace and I, she brought up all these things, and I know it was because of my relationship with Eric. I'm sure he was not taking classes. She said that people told her that he just liked the architecture, and so I threw myself into that because my husband's Catholic. My older daughter is Eastern Orthodox Catholic. I love going to the church to sit in it in reverence and tradition. Beautiful. Yes, that's literally, and again, it's not that deep. That's literally what it was. So he was not Catholic. He was not taking classes. He was doing none of those things, you know.
And so you would look at that and say, let's just give her the best shade of light. Maybe she's just misinformed.
It's about to go down.
All grind.
Absolutely incredible.
We'll go to the source. Where did she get it from? Erica.
Yeah.
Dear Erica, we see you at Mass yourself. We're hearing this. Is it really? How does that possibly sync with 8 facts about his move towards Catholicism, which counter the architecture gate? That's like the new way, you know, to phrase it. That's not what's adding up. So I think let
me play one more clip. This is Andrew Colvett talking basically on the same question. Now, the Tracy Martin clip was relatively recently. This was several months ago. But let me play this clip of Andrew Colvett talking to Alex Clark on her podcast.
You got the Catholics claiming him and the evangelicals claiming him. And
was he becoming Catholic?
No, but he really loved Catholic Mass. He loved the ritual of it. He loved the beauty of old Catholic churches and the stained glass.
And him and Erica would go sometimes.
Yeah, well, Erica's a cradle Catholic, but she ended up kind of like me. I grew up Catholic and First Communion and went to Catholic high school, but then I ended up becoming a Christian in college through a Protestant church, through a non-denominational kind of more experience. It's actually Presbyterian, and then it was kind of non-denominational. And I think Erica kind of follows that same path.
So here's Andrew saying, no, not only is Charlie not Catholic, but Erica's probably not even really Catholic either, which is strange to me because I see a lot of this, and you may too also, and other people in other churches might. Like say maybe the wife is Baptist and the husband is a non-believer, but he wants to be part of the family, so he goes to the Baptist church with his wife.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't look at that man and say he's Baptist. But if they're both non-believers and they're going to a Baptist church, you might wonder, why are they here? They strike me as somewhat Baptist if they're both at the Baptist church. Same thing in the Catholic church. You might have one who's Catholic and one who's atheist, or one who's Catholic and one who's Presbyterian, and they go to church together to support each other, right? And I've known families that have gone to 2 services every weekend. They'll go to the Catholic service, and then afterwards they'll drive over to the First Presbyterian church, and they basically belong to 2 churches. I want to say.
They must not have kids, by the way. They're going to 2 services. I mean, that's a lot for kids. I'm impressed if they can do that.
I want to say it's the Florida governor does that. I could be wrong, but it's somebody down there. One of the people running for office down in Florida used to do that. They'd go to the Catholic church and then they go to the Protestant church right afterwards. But if neither of you are Catholic, what are you doing in a Catholic church? So how do you respond to these couple of clips?
Walks like a duck, talks like a duck. It's a duck, right? So I mean, 8 refutable reason, and also personal text with Charlie as well on this matter. I mean, this bridges over in our whole Candace. We've been connected with Candace, like Catholic for Catholics, our group, which is again tries to get Catholics engaged in the fight for America. When Candace became Catholic, this was right after her famous "Christ is King" tweet from the Daily Wire that shot her around the world, right? She became Catholic, and we wanted just to kind of throw her kind of a celebration, like, hey, welcome to our church. We're praying for you as a sister in Christ. Okay. So we brought her to Phoenix, Arizona. She came, we had a little mass for her, and then talk. You can see it online. And I remember, I was looking through this now, just before the show, texting Charlie about the specific event, right? So this is May 2024. And I sent him the flyer right here for our event, and he said, very cool, right away. And then I told him, I said, Charlie, every day we pray for you in adoration so that because I told him you're more Catholic than the Pope. We had a kind of a crazy Pope back then, and we can't wait for the day we're going to throw a similar party. And then he responded right away. He says, just between us, I've been trying to see my priest, and don't share anything, but I'm interested in becoming a Catholic, right? And thank you for your prayers. I love Catholicism. So that's a pretty big deal, man, for a statement of volition from this individual on that. So I think it just syncs with what we have seen, and I'm confused about why they're trying to obfuscate this or cover up with a lie.
I'm a little confused by it as well, but I feel like we've sort of beat that part. Let me go forward to his death, because there was an issue where I know Milo Yiannopoulos got on Timcast and said he was 100% sure Charlie had not been buried. He was confused by that. It would be confusing if he wasn't. What do you know about whether Charlie had a funeral, and what sort of form that took?
I wasn't the one that, it's not like breaking news that there was a Catholic funeral. That's been reported by other sources, right? It's Candace and others have confirmed, so they have their sources who say that. I can add to that I have actually seen pictures of the people gathering for the funeral at a Catholic parish, and also I've seen pictures of the burials of the ceremony at the actual Catholic cemetery as well. So again, I could see from one point of view how they might want to protect just the parish identity and safety and all that kind of stuff, but why are we sitting on this? It should be a special thing, that we celebrate in this regard, and I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, it's very bizarre to me, and maybe it's because I'm a Catholic convert and I don't view it as a particularly massive deal, right? I mean, it's a big deal in that I do believe in the Catholic faith, and I took it seriously enough to pursue it, and lost friends over it, and had people take me to lunch and tell me I was going to hell and all that. I mean, I've heard it all, and then I've been very active Catholic since then. Some of my commenters don't like it, and they ask me questions about it, but I don't mind. I'll answer any question anybody asks me to the extent I know. Sure. But I'm just very confused by this just desire to say they won't even say he's buried because they don't want to say he's in a Catholic cemetery. Like that is so weird to me. Like we would rather you think we've just got him propped up by the jukebox than to think then you guys might think 5 months later he's lying in the ground somewhere because it's a Catholic cemetery, and we don't want you to know that. It's just a very like cult-like, almost a deeply dishonest approach to this man's life. And then they turn around and accuse us of dishonoring his legacy or dishonoring his life or attacking this or attacking that. I'm like, you guys won't even say he's buried. You won't even tell people he's in rest. That bothers me. That bothers me a little bit. I do want to say this, since you're here, I'm a big believer in what you guys are doing at Catholic for Catholics. I know you're having the event where Candace is speaking. We have a lot of fans of hers in the audience. Tell us a little bit about your event. When is it? Where is it? And if people wanted to go, they wanted to see Candace speak live. Matt Walsh also is committed to speak live, and some others. Is it Michael Flynn, one of the speakers?
General Michael Flynn, yep, former national security advisor, and a priest and a religious nun, and some more surprises that we got coming about speakers. But yeah, look, we're an activist group, right? We get engaged on political, cultural stuff, but at the end of the day, it is about prayer, right? So our yearly event, our signatory event, is called Catholic Prayer for America, right? This year, it's in DC for the 250th anniversary. It's gonna be a major event. And yes, we've invited Candace, has accepted our invitation to come. This is her first public appearance for like 2 years. And the last time she spoke was actually at our welcome home mass. So she's coming. And of course, you better believe it. It's drawn the ire and attention of a lot of people. And, Baron, as I was debating and praying about whether, how this would all fit in and the pushback we would no doubt get should this warrior Candace come and speak at our event, I honestly thought about Charlie. I mean, like literally, it's just surreal, man. It's like he was literally having the same kind of thought process. Was it July, August of this past year of, will I invite Candace Owens to AmFest? And it was almost surreal. I was like, whoa, like, I get what I get to a small degree what you were going through, right? And we went ahead, we went max and brought her on, and of course we received a ton of blowback. And I really think there's several reasons. I mean, obviously she's talking about who's really behind the Charlie Kirk assassination, but it's also affronting that element of Zionism, okay? And did you guys cover the whole Carrie Prejean thing with being fired from the Religious Liberty Commission? Or not so much.
We did just in passing. Passing. The only thing we covered about it was she's a Catholic. She was challenging that you don't have to be a Zionist to be a Christian, and for that was removed off of the.
Yeah, and this false equating that, oh my gosh, if you don't believe that we have a biblical mandate to support the 1948 state of Israel, as many Catholic Christians believe, you don't have that, then that's not the same as saying you're anti-Semitic, okay? I mean, obviously, anti-Semitism is wrong, which is just hatred of the Jews. We don't have that, right? So Carrie Prejean was on this Religious Liberty Commission, okay? This is the group that President Trump started under the DOJ, and it's had some great initiatives, like they announced the America Praise campaign back in September to bring prayer back to America. And, they have had a series of hearings, and one of the last hearings that had fireworks all over it was specifically when it was on anti-Semitism, right? And Carrie was speaking up. In fact, she was trying to have a Jewish rabbi come to the floor and say, hey, we love America more than we love the nation state of Israel, and we feel like second-class Jews. She tried to get their voices heard on the Religious Liberty Commission. They stopped her, okay? And then there's the fireworks. They kind of debate back and forth. And, the next day, she's booted off the commission. Why? Because they were saying she's anti-Semitic or whatever. Okay, so we saw this happening, and Candace actually let me know about it, and I was like, okay, what are we going to do? Everyone's dogpiling on this girl, and she's former Miss California, and she's removed, and we just took a step. So, you know what? This is stop. This bullying is stop. Charlie hated this bullying, right? That famous clip where he said, I'm done with people like pressuring me not to have people on my thing for their beliefs. So we said, you know what? We're going to give Carrie an award, okay? We're going to give her an award at our event, March 19th in DC at the Catholic Prayer for America. That sent Mark Levin, Laura Loomer, and everybody else up in arms and coming down our throats for a prayer event, right? But So this event, it's special, it's unique, it's and I think I encourage. We've had tremendous response. Yeah, we got a lot of negative feedback, but there's the silent majority. The silent majority is there. They understand the truth.
Is there a website that can go and get more information and grab a ticket?
In the show notes, cforc.com, and then there's a code Baron, and you take $100 off your ticket purchase.
One
and,
R.
With one R.
Baron with one R. Yeah.
Exactly.
$100 off. I'm worth $100. I like
it. Up, man. I shoot up. Yeah. It's yes, you are. Yes, you are, sir.
I like that.
So, and we encourage you, and even if you can't be there, just to bring this to be united with us on that day. So it's an important day for us as a country and a group.
Well, John Yep, I appreciate you stopping by. Catholics for Catholics. If you guys aren't familiar with them, and like what he has to say, jump in there, check him out. And John, appreciate you taking the time to stop by with us.